Hello everyone. It's been such a tough year for the NHS, and one that's again been dominated principally by COVID-19. So far during this pandemic, our amazing clinical colleagues have provided hospital care to more than 3,000 patients with COVID-19. The images taken by teaching fellow Matthew Jones and intensive care consultant Alex Scott show some of the extraordinary work carried out by colleagues during this time. They're taken inside the critical care unit at James Cook Hospital, and the project documents the pressure, the challenges, the camaraderie and the absolute kindness shown by this incredible team in this most difficult of times. But this is just one example of the many teams that have faced unparalleled challenges during the last 18 months. And I just want to take the opportunity to say a personal thank you to each and every team at South Tees NHS Trust, who kept going despite everything and kept going when it was really tough. I just want to say thank you. Testing has been a huge part of our pandemic response, and our laboratory colleagues were amongst the first in the country to develop round-the-clock testing for COVID-19. Since then, they've carried out more than 200,000 COVID swab tests for patients and colleagues. Side by side with this massive testing exercise has been the delivery of personal protective equipment to help keep patients, service users and colleagues safe. The picture shows members of our procurement team who've secured more than 6 million aprons, 4 million face masks and 7 million pairs of gloves since the start of the pandemic. Without them, we couldn't have kept all of our patients and all of our staff safe. So a really big thank you to all of them from all of us. The game changer that of course has brought hope to everyone is the COVID-19 vaccines. And in December, James Cook became one of the world's first vaccination centres, delivering 71,000 life-saving jabs to patients, colleagues, home workers and other priority groups. Since then, the vaccination programme has been led by our GP colleagues, pharmacists and public vaccination centres up and down the country and has been rolled out to millions of people. But before I hand over to our Chief Medical Officer, Mike Stewart, I just want to say an enormous thank you to everyone who works at South Tees, who has again stepped up so magnificently in this pandemic. You've all been absolutely amazing, and I just can't thank you enough. Please keep yourselves safe.
Despite the success of the vaccination programme, the essential measures which the virus continues to demand of us around social distancing, testing and personal protective equipment remain in place to protect those who are immunosuppressed or who have not yet been double jabbed. This is important not just for our local communities in Teesside and North Yorkshire, but for patients across the North East and beyond who rely on us as a specialist tertiary, cancer and regional major trauma centre with the full range of our services captured in this slide. For example, this year heart experts at James Cook are using a new device called MitraClip to deliver an advanced, minimally invasive treatment for severe heart failure disease. The tiny clip can repair a leaking heart valve without the need for invasive surgery, as specially trained doctors implant the device through a thin tube or catheter which is guided to the heart through a vein in the leg. The MitraClip is attached to the mitral valve to help it close without leaking, which helps restore normal blood flow through the heart. Because the procedure does not require opening the chest or temporarily stopping the heart, it provides a life-changing treatment option for patients who have been deemed too high risk for surgery. This includes patients who are too old and frail or people with heart failure who were previously reliant on tablets or cardiac devices to control symptoms such as dizziness, breathlessness and irregular heartbeats. One of the first patients to benefit from the service at James Cook was 89-year-old John Woods, who you can see in the top left of this slide. In the top right is Macaretta, a kidney patient who was diagnosed with thyroid cancer but underwent successful treatment thanks to a number of our specialty teams at James Cook working closely together. Following surgery, thyroid cancer patients are given radioactive iodine therapy to ablate any remaining thyroid tissue to reduce the risk of the cancer recurring. This involves swallowing a single capsule of radioiodine, which releases short-range radiation that destroys the thyroid cells that have taken it up, removing the last remnants of the thyroid and any cancerous tissue. Any radioactive iodine not absorbed by the thyroid is usually quickly disposed of by the kidneys and urine. But Macaretta's kidney failure meant she was reliant on dialysis 3 times a week to clear out any toxins from her body. Our nuclear medicine, oncology and nephrology teams quickly worked together to come up with a solution and were able to offer the radioactive therapy to Macaretta in the radioactive treatment room while she was actually dialysing. The treatment was a huge success, and Macaretta is now looking forward to being able to go back onto the kidney transplant list. Shown in the bottom left is Donald, one of the many patients at the James Cook University Hospital who have had their heart valve replaced during the pandemic and then gone home the same day. Their speedy recovery has been made possible thanks to an advanced procedure called TAVI, or transcatheter aortic valve implantation, which avoids the need for open heart surgery. TAVI patients are fitted with new heart valves using advanced imaging technology and a tube or catheter which is inserted through a small cut in their groin or chest, so there is no need to stop the heart. Most patients are up and about within a few hours of the procedure and only need to spend 1 night in hospital. But for those who meet certain safety criteria, they can now return home the same day, and this has been particularly popular with patients during the pandemic. And finally, the picture in the bottom right shows our team who are helping more stroke patients across Teesside and North Yorkshire to benefit from faster access to the most advanced blood clot removal techniques. The James Cook University Hospital has expanded its team of neuroradiology consultants to enable it to provide a mechanical thrombectomy service in Middlesbrough 5 days a week. Before, most patients who were stable enough would go to Newcastle, and that inevitably brings a 2-hour delay, and that 2 hours is critical. Because of the delay, some patients are not able to have the treatment, which in most cases must be within 5 to 6 hours of stroke onset. So this new 5-day service means more people will be able to have this advanced treatment. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Chris Hand, I'm the Chief Finance Officer. I'm pleased to present the Trust's financial position for the financial year 2020-21. This was a particularly challenging and complex financial year due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Throughout this period, the usual financial arrangements were suspended and the Trust worked as part of the overall ICS to deliver financial balance across the wider system. This first chart shows the key sources of income for the Trust last year, with most attributable to the block funding arrangements that were in place during COVID. And the second chart provides a breakdown of the expenditure that was incurred during that period. I'm pleased to report that the Trust delivered the expected revenue position for the year within the overall ICS system. In terms of the Trust's capital programme, you can see from this chart that the Trust's gross capital investment in the year totalled 58 million. I'm pleased to say that the Trust was successful in a number of bids for additional capital funding during the year. This enabled the Trust to significantly increase the capital programme from the original 31 million plan. And this supported additional investment in essential replacement of medical and surgical equipment, IT and our physical estate in order to support the Trust in delivering services right throughout the COVID pandemic.
Welcome. The last 18 months have been particularly challenging for the NHS. The ability to draw on support from our local communities, partners and indeed stakeholders has been vital to supporting the staff. Patients are our first priority, but looking after our staff and providing them with a high value working environment recognised by the population is crucial. There have been a number of initiatives that have taken place over the last year supported from the community, including a free drive-in cinema day for all our colleagues and their families. And importantly, one of our local artists, Mackenzie Thorpe, has helped create a People's Medal, which we have provided to all staff working in the South Tees NHS environment. This is to recognise their unfailing dedication, hard work, and indeed the quality of care that they've provided during what has been an extremely difficult period for everyone in the United Kingdom. Another area of major support has been our strong ties with the military. As many of you know, Many of the staff working in South Tees are also in the military. An ability to draw on their experience, particularly in relation to their emergency responsiveness, has been vital. And we've worked collaboratively with them to ensure that we provided a high quality, safe environment for patients with COVID and also for patients who don't have COVID, who make up an equally important part of the care that we provide. And indeed, going forward, we'll need to make sure that we can manage both of these patient groups effectively and safely. Another important development supported by the Friends of the Friarage has been the development of a new academic centre at the Friarage itself, which is there to support all staff, but also to provide an exciting environment for the future generation of medical students, nurses and other staff working in South Tees. This new centre, located above the Gara Ward on the Friarage site, was opened recently, and the open day was well attended by members of the public and also representatives from all over the North East. This exciting facility is state-of-the-art and designed to support both undergraduate and postgraduate medical and non-medical education. In the short amount of time I've had, I've just illustrated a few examples, both large and small, which are examples of how the hospital and in general is working with our population and stakeholders. We're very grateful to the continued support and the generous donations that we've had over the recent months. So with that, I'd finally like to thank you for all the support that you've been giving us and for watching this film of this year's annual general meeting. Hopefully we can meet face to face next year to celebrate our successes once again. Thank you very much.